自在にしてみそぎの証名を賜物に沈いし信仰歌の鏡なり。
Based on the legendary fox spirit who supposedly took the form of an enchanting courtesan in 12th century Japan, Tamamo no Mae in Fate Extella Link is a frighteningly powerful anti-hero servant. As a caster, she wields very powerful magic, which she uses to destroy her enemies from a distance. Having received significant changes since the previous game, let's go ahead and take a look at everything that she can do, and how stacked she is. How she stacks up. Tamamo's normal attack string actually only consists of 4 attacks, one less than the majority of the cast. She will swing her mirror forward, do a big kick, plant and do a series of kicks, and then finish with one big follow-up. Normal attacks in this game often just serve as setups for later, but I have to say that her string, despite being short, does come out quick enough and with enough range to be a decent source of damage on its own. You'll need to make sure to hit with the first 2 in order to get the most out of the third multi-kick, but all in all, this is not a terrible normal string for a caster. Next up, let's jump to her unique attacks. For her heavy attack, Tamamo will step forward while sending flames through the air in a small half circle. Foes will be knocked back by this, and with how fast it comes out, you are able to throw out many of these in short succession, which can give you space when multiple aggressors or servants are all in your vicinity. Alternatively, you can just use it to finish off an enemy at low health or set up a bigger combo later. Next up, she has one of the more involved C2s, where she will do a series of fox scratches in front of her before then launching into a jumping hit. From here, you can freely add as many of her aerial attacks as you wish, making this a good way to single out a foe, accomplishing the usual C2 launcher job. Tamamo no Mae's next unique attack has her doing a faster version of her C1. There's really nothing new to say here, your foe is likewise knocked back and damaged. I really wish this wasn't nearly the same as her C1 with as limited a moveset as she already has. For her last unique attack, Tamamo will do one big swipe with her tail, knocking enemies back very far while doing a lot of damage. Like her C1 and C3, this attack creates more space than it sets up for further immediate physical punishment. And although you can beat your foes to death with her array of unique attacks, in many ways they themselves are really just setups for her active skills. Looking at these attacks all together, it's really a big shame that they all essentially do the same job: knock back and damage enemies immediately in front of you. There's no larger area effects or side and back coverage. In many ways, this seems more like a saber's selection of attacks rather than a caster's. If you couldn't tell, this is a huge missed opportunity. In Fate Extella, the Umbral Star, Tamamo was a bit wonky, but she did have a collection of physical and ranged attacks built into her normal kit. But here in Fate Extella Link, it seems that a lot of her classic attacks were taken away and made into her active skills. This is fine as long as there are adequate replacements put in place, which I'm sorry to say that these don't cut it. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and jump over to those active skills and see if they're able to redeem her. As always, in this section I'll be giving a quick rundown of the skills alongside their descriptions before getting into my recommended builds and whatnot. 1. Curse Fiery Heaven. Shoots a controllable spurt of flames. 2. Curse Chaos Heaven. Creates a tornado that surrounds you. 3. Curse Frigid Heaven. Shoots 5 balls of ice in front of you. 4. The Bridal Fox's Day. Create a healing field around you, which gradually heals nearby allies. 5. Curse Thunder. Shoot a cursed exploding ball forward, stunning any enemies caught in the blast. 6. Mantra, Aphotic Cave. Enter a special guard state which nullifies enemy attacks and automatically counterattacks for a brief time. And 7. Curse, Gyokuten Ho. Repeated kicks to the front, then a somersault kick, followed by a finishing jump kick, also known as the Polygamous Castration attack. Yeah, by the way, that's in the description. First of all, I have to say that the few healing skills available, like the Bridal Fox's Day, are actually not very helpful or worth putting in one of your skill slots. With the amount of movement between sectors available in this game through things like your command seals or just extra jump routes, it's usually better to just travel directly to where a weakened ally is and help them win their fight, rather than bother bringing along a heal skill that you're probably not going to use, especially because your ally will soon be healed anyways after you rescue them, again, negating its purpose. Over on the actually useful side, Curse Frigid Heaven is a natural shoo-in, with how much distance and speed it offers while also freezing your enemies. Next up, normally I am all about stunning skills like Curse Thunder, but here I'm somewhat torn. Unlike other stuns, this one has a very long windup, and it only hits slightly in front of her, making it super easy to miss should you not be exactly lined up for it. You can make it work better by setting it up through one of her other attacks like her C3, but at the end of the day that's a lot of investment for just a simple stun, which is usually meant to be followed up by something anyway. Personally, I would rather replace her stun with her guard counter skill, Mantra Aphotic Cave, or just bring them both. Considering that Tamamo no Mae actually has the worst defense stat of any character in this game, maxing out at only 1,215 at the top level 150. Her defense, combined with her slightly below average speed and the reduced distance of her dash, can leave her completely open in situations where enemies are all getting too close. So this counter skill serves as an important panic button that you should save only for emergencies, unless all of your other attacks are off cooldown. As for the rest of her skill slots, I'd say go with whatever else you prefer depending on your personal playstyle. I always go with Curse Fiery Heaven for the ridiculous amount of damage it can output, especially onto a cornered or unmoving foe. After all the trouble we saw with her unique attacks, I think I can say that her active skills do help her overall prospects. Even though I'm not in love with her stun, the fact that she has it alongside a guard counter skill and plenty of good attack skills, and even that weird healing one, gives her a very good balance that few other servants have. When it comes to her drive attack and noble phantasm, like a lot of the other characters, there's nothing extra to add here. Except for one thing, and that's that, unfortunately, you are not able to initiate the eightfold blessings of Amaterasu map effect that NPC Tamamos are able to give to you or use against you. Sorry, but it's just not going to happen. With everything that she can do summed up, why don't we go ahead and take a step back to see where she sits overall. Without a doubt, Tamamo no Mae's main strength comes from her selection of very powerful active skills. These naturally focus on her magic, and with a proper setup, they can make up for her lack of defense with a very good offense. Outside of those skills, unfortunately, most of her other attacks are entirely centered around dealing close-range physical damage, something that is not supported by her meager defense and so-so offense. Don't get me wrong, of course you can still get the job done with her, but overall her kit doesn't actually play to her strength, which is dealing massive bursts of damage while keeping herself as safe as possible. As much as I wish that I could say that Tamamo no Mae should be higher, as she is, weighing her pros and cons, my conclusion at the end of the day is pretty clear. She is average, if not slightly below average compared to the other servants on the roster. This is definitely something that I wouldn't want her to hear me say, though.
The sun! Yeah! That's it! Solar flare!
I'd like to give a special thank you to my top patrons Minute Rice, Henry Gutierrez, and Ignis Isel, as well as everybody else who's currently supporting me on Patreon. Thank you all very much.